What we're told in traditional accounting is that profit comes last, but it's human nature. When something comes last, it means it's insignificant.
It's like a
I love
drop.
my
It's a
family
little,
so
little
much.
drop that, I got a little bit of it, maybe.
A little bit of it.
And
But
it's
you
gone.
never say, I love my family so much, I'm putting them last now.
Right.
Last means not important. What we do say is, I love my family, I'm putting them first. In profit first, what you're gonna do is every time revenue comes into your company, in practice, we're gonna take out profit immediately. It's a cash distribution or allocation to another account hidden from your business, and then you run your business off the remainder. By doing this, you assure profit. It's the pay yourself first principle applied to business.
Our guest today is a rock star in the entrepreneurial space. He's been breaking down barriers for business owners and entrepreneurs since his best-selling books, The Pumpkin Plan and Profit First, have hit the shelves. He's turned the old equation of sales minus expenses equals profit on its head and has been helping entrepreneurs take control of their businesses and not letting them turn into cash-eating monsters. His latest book, Get Different, Marketing That Can't Be Ignored, is out now. Welcome to the show, Mike Michalowicz.
Mike, it is a joy to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Man, I had to summarize that bio. First of all, thank you for being here. It's an honor to have you. I want you to know I'm a student right here of Profit First.
I see that picture of Profit First. Are you holding the book? That's awesome. And the fact there's a highlighter on there, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude, this has literally been, I've been living in this book for quite some time. I take my time going through books. Partially because I read it about a third grade level. But aside from that, I like to make sure I'm not reading it to finish the book, but reading it to actually and implementing it in my life. And that's what the highlighter is about, because I will go back and reread this and only read the highlights. And then the book will take me about an hour to zip through it. And the rest of the dots get connected. I also want to give you a shout out, because great minds think alike. This is Mic'd Up with Mike DeChocho podcast. And you also have a podcast called Mic Up in Your Business, and that's available on Apple, Spotify, and all the popular platforms. So I just wanted to give you a shout out there.
Oh, thank you. I try to get mic'd up, but someone apparently took it.
Yeah, some jerk in Buffalo.
Some smart guy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, let's roll.
So, I'm reading Profit First, as we just talked about, and I just want people to know, if they haven't tuned into that yet, and we have a limited time together today, so I know you have like 5-6 amazing books out. We're going to really focus on Profit First, because if somebody's listening to this, taking notes, listening to the podcast, or watching us on YouTube, I want it to be really like a collection of thoughts that they can take and run with. First of all, the style you write in, anyone who hasn't read this yet, it's really direct. It's like Mike is literally talking to you guys directly, like having a cup of coffee. No nonsense, no fluff. He's going to tell you like it is. And I feel like I've actually met you before, even before literally meeting you now, because the way that the book is written, it feels like we're in conversation. So I think it's really...
That to me, that's the ultimate compliment. That's my goal, is I feel for a reader of a book, there's an intimate connection there. Like, I could be in my underwear at the middle of the night and in my bed, kind of flipping through pages. I don't want to feel like an outsider. I'm pretty exposed here. And so I think it is a serious connection. And I'm happy you said that, because that's my goal, is when someone reads the book, they feel, and they should, that it's just me and them working on a business challenge that hopefully will serve them.
Yeah, and it comes across that way. And it's funny, there's jokes, and like the way it's written is just perfectly done. And I know you've taken a lot of time. You also re-released it with more modern content, because the way life changes every 32 minutes, if not sooner. So here we're going to kick off with the basics of Profit First. So I anticipate there will be some people listening, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. Maybe they're still operating in sales minus expenses equals profit. So we want to get them to break free from that methodology. Can you share the difference between accounting profit and actual profit?
Yeah, for sure. So how we entrepreneurs define profit is cash in the bank, cash left over when the year or a period of time is over, that I can take out as a reward for running this business in the first place. The traditional formula, the accounting formula, says that our profit it's an equation, sales minus expenses equals profit. Now, accounting can be manipulated. Enron was profitable until it collapsed. So you can play games with profit, but on a cash basis, it's either in the bank or not. What I teach in Profit First is flipping the formula. What we're told in traditional accounting is that profit comes last, But it's human nature. When something comes last, it means it's insignificant.
It's like a
I love
drop.
my
It's a
family so
little
much.
drop that, I got a little bit of it, maybe.
A little bit of it.
And
But
it's
you
gone.
never say, I love my family so much, I'm putting them last now.
Right.
Last means not important. What we do say is, I love my family, I'm putting them first. In profit first, what you're going to do is every time revenue comes into your company, in practice, we're going to take out profit immediately. It's a cash distribution or allocation to another account hidden from your business, and then you run your business off the remainder. By doing this, you assure profit. It's the pay yourself first principle applied to business.
And what I like about it too is that one of the demonstrations I saw you when you're writing on the whiteboard is that the three variables are all there. They're kind of equal, if you will. Like if we keep math real simple, like 1 + 1 is 2, or 1 + 1 + 1 is 3 kind of
Right.
thing. There's a Beatles song like that, isn't there? If you move where the ones are, it still adds up to 3. You're just, instead of subtracting, like you're taking the profit part of the 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, and you're just
That's
going
right.
after that first. You're going to get all 3 into the equation. It's just moving what happens first. I think
Well, yeah, it's
I
a
don't know if I
logical
over confuse
calculation.
people with that, but that's how it
Yeah,
makes
now-
sense to me.
If you divide 2 by 7 and add a multiple of 6 minus n, you're there.
I think we have one viewer that probably understands what the heck you just said. And if they,
But it's called a variable swap. And so it's
Right.
basic math. Is like, if you have something below an equation, you can move it above if you swap out the comparative variable below. So the math, the data, or the numbers come out to be the same. But the behavior is the radical shift, because last means delay, first means priority. And so we're putting profit first, it gets done.
Mhm. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to hit at your heartstrings for a second, if you allow me to, if you don't mind, because a lot of people might know you as the successful guy. He's built and sold multiple businesses. He's got 5+ books out. He's killing it. He's keynoting on TEDx talks, and you've done all that. But at the same time, what we want to talk about is you're a real dude, and you've also, like some of the people listening and myself, have had rock bottom moments that we've had to come back
Sure.
from. And I want to have you open up on one, and it's just to give context to the audience so they understand, like, you've actually done this. You're not just preaching
Oh, yeah, I'm
something
not-
and you're like,
Yeah.
this is what you got to do, and then you're doing something different. Like these methods that you preach on, you literally have applied to your own life, and you've changed your life. And that's, now you're like, it helped me, but I don't want to only help one person. I want to help everybody else who can do this. So take us back to Valentine's Day, 2008, the piggy bank story with Adalia.
Yeah.
And share that if anybody hasn't heard
Yeah,
it
and
yet.
honestly, Mike, this is probably, I think, the most important part of my story. The successes are wonderful and stuff, but honestly, I hate hearing, because it sounds like I'm a total tool. And I don't want to be. When I really was a tool, though, was this: I'd grown some businesses early on. I was 30x years old, 32, 33. I was a self-made millionaire, and I thought I was hot shit, that I knew everything. I then started a third business as an angel investor, sucked at it. I lost all my money so bad that as I was losing money, I started dumping more money into it and losing it faster. I had a call from my accountant on Valentine's Day, and he said, "Hey, you need to declare bankruptcy." He goes, "I've never seen a collapse so fast." Not his exact words, but that was the sentiment. And he said, "You got two options. You can declare bankruptcy, or if you're not willing to do that, you have to liquidate your remaining asset, your home." I chose option 2. I said, I'm not going to go into debt. I'm not going to go into say bankruptcy. So I got rid of the house. I came home to my family to tell my wife, my 3 children, because I'd been lying by omission up to that point, saying everything's fine when it wasn't. And I was sobbing and said, "I can't believe this, but we're losing our house in 30 days. And I caught my wife, everyone off guard, like, what is going on? And 30 days later, we're out. I had to tell my daughter, she was 9, you can't go to horseback riding lessons because I can't even afford that. She ran out of the room. I thought she was running away. She actually ran to her bedroom to grab her piggy bank. And she ran back to me and she puts it on the table and she goes, "Daddy, I know you can't provide for us anymore, but I'll be the provider for the family." And that's when I just started wailing. I mean, it was like, I still get so emotional about it. I felt like such an ass and heel. And I also felt so amazed that my daughter's willing to step up for this. I felt like a scumbag.
Yeah. Mixed emotions. Like you were like inspired by your daughter, but felt horrendous that your cause, like this
I'm
moment.
the one who thrust this upon her and them, You and I are providers. We're the breadwinners. Our job is to provide for ourselves, our family, our communities. And I took that away. So after that moment, it changed my whole perspective. I never knew entrepreneurship. I thought I did because I built business and sold them. I didn't. I was clueless. I was lucky. I started to reinvestigate everything about entrepreneurship. Profit First is one of the pieces. I'm on a lifetime journey, I believe, to figure out everything I don't know about entrepreneurship and then serve it up to other folks that maybe could benefit from that.
And you're doing that, man. That moment was your key moment, one of your key moments in life that just, I hate to say, like, you needed to live it, because if you didn't, you wouldn't redo that if you could. You would have did it better for up front. Like you got to that point. But a lot of people, what I'm encouraging them to hear in this story is that we're not able to change things once they happen. We can change what we do after. And that's when you're like, if I continue doing make the same mistakes, that's asinine. That's like the old quote, like, if you keep making them, what is the quote? The Einstein.
Yeah, to continue to do the same thing, expecting different results is insanity.
Insanity. My dad taught me that at a young age. Like, stop. If you want to correct something, part of the equation needs to change. We talked about the equation earlier, the Profit First. So that was like you got hit directly, where it hurts, and then you were able to create the system based off of that, and then thrive again. And then you're like, man, I want to help more people do it, which I think is cool. Because
totally,
I don't know if I missed it when you were sharing the story, but that happened like after you received a check for what, $388,000, and you were, going to the pick up a brand new car for your wife, and like you were living it up. Yeah. But then at the same time, that caused.
I was such a dick. So I sold my second company to Robert Half International. It's a Fortune 500, and they start saying tranches of checks per the contract of the sale. And I'm like, I'm out of here. I got to get the Viper. And I had which by the way is the trophy of dicks, just saying. And I had
no comment.
And I had to have like all these things. And we got a place in Hawaii to go on to sabbatical for, and like all this, just totally living up, because I was like, this is my new standard. And it was amazing how quickly I could spend that money, and it was burning through it. And I was like, well, I got to sustain this lifestyle. Let me start a new business. And that's where everything fell apart.
Right. Because if you don't have the right systems in place, then you're not really replicating success, because the things that got you there you weren't replicating it anyway, which is really
that's right.
Important takeaway. Here's what we're going to do. I know we're tight on time. I hate to take a timeout. We're going to hit our sponsorship timeout real quick. 60 seconds. We will be right back with Mike Michalowicz. Podcasting is a great way to engage with your audience and stay consistently relevant. The only problem is you don't have the time or desire to produce your own show. You simply want it done for you. And that's where Social Chameleon comes in. All you need to do is press record and upload the files. We'll handle the rest. From planning, production, post-production, distribution, and digital marketing, we have you covered. We realize that times are tough and funds are tight. And Social Chameleon believes in building supportive business relationships. By clicking on the link in this promo, we'll provide you 7 free podcasting tips to get started, as well as a free 30-minute online consultation. This is the perfect opportunity for entrepreneurs, keynote speakers, industry experts, influencers, and anybody who has a personal brand. With Social Chameleon, we help you build a brand that is out of this world. We're ready and waiting, so what are you waiting for? Click on the link to get started today. All right, we're back in action, and I have to give a shout out to 2 people that are close to me right now, and both are coaches or working within my with my organization to help us profit. And the first is Nate Hendresky, who actually gifted me the copy of Profit First.
Nice, Nate.
Nate is a bookkeeper, and I'm going to give him a shout out on navigating your books, and he has implemented the system with me, and it's totally helping me reorganize. Because I'll just share real quick. My mistake was out of sight, out of mind. Like if I knew I was failing in something, I would just say, get it away from me, because it's killing my my mojo, and I need to get on a sales call and close a deal. And if I feel like a loser right now because something's broken,
very hard to sell.
Something's broken in my finances, like then I'm not going to be able to sell this person. So I pushed it away, and Nate helped me go, dude, if you want to take down Godzilla, we got to identify what it is so we can beat it down, little bit by little. So shout out to Nate. And he actually has a quick question. And I texted him, I said, man, I'm interviewing Mike. Is there anything you want to ask him? And he said, you know what? The best value that I think you can get from him is if he shares a story of someone who implemented Profit First and how it really helped them. People can learn through that story. So when I say that right now, Mike, who's the first person that comes to mind? I know you have thousands of examples.
Yeah. And I get literally an email every 15, 20 minutes from a reader now. It's unbelievable. But we have 600,000 implementations at least out there in circulation. But one that stands out is I remember it was a business in, I think it's called Canterbury. It was in Australia. And this woman writes me and she goes, basically says, we are desperate. My husband and I run a horse farm. They raise horses for, I think it was for races or something. And she goes, not only are we not profitable, we can't stand each other. It's constant conflict. We're desperate. We're implementing Profit First. Some readers decide to keep me posted on their progress. Well, they reach out 3-4 months later and they said, oh my God, we are profitable for the first time ever. But bigger is we that stress of surviving to the moment and tearing at each other is gone. Like we're now working as partners. Fast forward a year later, they reached out again. They said, we have the best marriage we've ever had. And I'm not saying Profit First was a solution, but I know if you have a wound and you keep putting salt on it, you can't heal other things. And they're profitable.
It continues to be a divider. So no matter how good the other parts of your life are, when there's that division, there's always that gap that's going to cause some kind of problem.
Yeah, I mean, financial viability is one of the core safety factors for human survival. If you can't afford to put a roof over your head or afford to put food in your mouth, that's all that matters. And so if we don't have money, that's the consequence. So that story just comes to mind. What I love about it for me personally is that's the day that came in years ago when I realized, oh, wow, Profit First is not just for people in New Jersey where I live, or it's not just for the US. This has a global reach. And that was a big deal when I got that message.
Second shout out is to Amelia Mills Bender of Mills Knows Bills. I recently hired her as my financial coach. You guys see a theme here. What I did was start to build a great team around myself because me, myself, and I did not, all three of us didn't have the answer, me, myself, and I. So I had Nate come on board to help out and then Amelia, and I've introduced the two of them and they hit it off right away. But she's a financial coach and she helped me with implementing Profit First and doing the envelopes to move money around from a profitable account.
Nice, Amelia.
And if you want to just elaborate on what, how people can set up those initial accounts, I'm in the process of it. So I'm not going to be speaking totally on it myself today, but I'd like you to share what that concept is of kind of moving money around to save.
So I love that you got started. And the key about Profit First is that you don't have to do all of it perfectly. We just need to get started. It can work incrementally. So for some people, they set up one new account. Others go all in. They set up the 5 foundational accounts. The key is this. Most business owners operate their business by looking into their bank account. That's what I do. I log in, see how much money I have. I don't look at the accounting statements and interpret what that means for my business. Therefore, Profit First is what's called a behavioral intercept. We set up accounts at your bank. And it has to be where you go so that it'll intercept your behavior. Some people say, oh, do this on a spreadsheet. Fine, you'll never look at it. We have to have it where we go. Then the 5 foundational accounts are as follows. Income, it's actually a serving tray. All your deposits come in there, but then we're going to serve the other parts of your business from that tray. Next account is called profit. This is a reward for owning a business. We're going to put a percentage of that money that comes into the serving tray income into the profit account on a quarterly basis every 9 days or so. We allocate that money out as a reward for the shareholders. Thank you for being a creator of our economy. The owner's comp account is the third account. That is the pay for your salary for the work you do within your business. Different than profit. Profit's a reward for investing in, starting a business. Owner's pay is your pay for the work you do within your business. If you were to replace yourself, what would you have to pay that person? That's the salary you deserve. Tax is the fourth account. That plate, if you will, is used to pay our tax liabilities to the government. The number one biggest bill associated with operating a business that businesses are least prepared for is the tax bill. Every April 15th rolls around, it's like, holy crap, I owe how much to who? The business can pay your taxes. Regardless of your formation, sometimes you got to do some trickeration, and sometimes the business can pay the government directly. Other times, it actually reimburses you, the owner, because your taxes were deducted from your payroll. The last account is called OPEX. That's what's used to operate the business. It's the remaining money that's truly available. And here's the thing. As we allocate this money out, say a $1,000 deposit comes in and you go through this process, you may see that the OPEX account only has $300. We used to say, oh, $1,000 in my account, I can spend $1,000 in my business. No. We got to pay you. We got to reward you. We got to protect ourselves from tax liability. And the remaining $300 is what's truly available to operate your business. The final lesson is this. If you can't pay your bills off that $300, that's your business telling you you can't afford your bills. There's something fundamentally wrong. We need to increase the margin. How do we dictate more for what we're doing? We need to decrease costs. We need to bring about more efficiency. But if you want to be profitable, if you want to pay yourself the right salary, if you don't want to worry about taxes, you must run off of what's available in OpEx.
Yeah, I think that's super important. That was a mistake that I've made, is having these accounts, everything that streams has their own thing. I have a 6-year-old daughter, so I got the Disney Plus app and Hulu because there's one show I wanted to see on Hulu. So now I got Hulu for the one show and this, that, and the other thing. And there's like a half dozen of them now. And then you add it all up and it's like $150 a month or whatever it might be.
It's like more than cable. It's like, let's go back to cable.
Yeah. And
people say I cut the cord and they put the cord around their neck and start strangling themselves.
Right. And I'm not someone who I don't watch a ton of shows. My sitcom, it's not so much a sitcom anymore as I watch the Buffalo Bills. I call it a sitcom because for years it was a lot of comedy. But I love watching football, and that's it. Other than that,
I love football. College or pro?
Pro, Buffalo Bills. That's
nice. I'm huge into college. I'm a little bit into pros, huge into college. So Saturday, I watch football.
Saturday's your thing, so that's the time you delegate. But
I did like Tyrod Taylor, though. I'm just saying. He was an amazing Buffalo Bills fan.
I actually bought his jersey and totally jinxed him. Thursday night football game, I got the white throwback jersey.
Were you the guy who got stabbed in the lung?
No, I was years before that. I literally, it was a Thursday night game against the Jets, and I bought his jersey. My brother-in-law was over, new apartment, watching the game on the new TV, and it was like his worst game as a Buffalo Bill. And then he never was right after that and got traded, but it was like all it took is me getting his jersey, apparently. But I don't. I have weird superstitions with football. That's a whole nother podcast.
I do too.
The reason I brought it up is I'm not trying to stand here and say hey guys, you're running a business, you shouldn't be watching Netflix. Everybody has their little getaway thing. And I have it again for my 6-year-old daughter because we like to watch some Disney stuff together, but it adds up and it's is that a necessity? If I'm not profiting $1 in business, does it make sense for me to even think about having YouTube Premium or whatever, and all these other different accounts that I know I have signed up from last year, a couple of years ago. So not to go in the weeds on it because there's so much more value I want to talk about. Now we got literally a couple minutes left. Here's what we're going to do. I'd like to talk about the queen bee role, and then I have one final question if we can do that in 5 minutes. Hey guys, it's Mike. I'd like to give a proper shout out to Navigator Bookkeeping. Look, for a long time, I ran my business without really understanding the full financial picture. I used my gut and my bank account balance to make decisions, which led to some poor choices and constant stress over my business's finances. I knew something needed to change. At the beginning of 2021, I made a decision that helped pave a more clear path for my business. I started working with Navigator Bookkeeping. Since then, my bookkeeping has been handled for me. I now understand the full financial story of my business, making important financial decisions much easier now, and it helps me plan for where my business is going. I highly recommend giving Navigator Bookkeeping an opportunity to help your business. Check them out at navigatingyourbooks.com. Again, that's navigatingyourbooks.com. It's time to know the full financial story of your business. Share the importance of entrepreneurs understanding their queen bee role in their business.
Yeah, so queen bee role comes from a different book, Clockwork. And what I was studying is many businesses seem to struggle to scale. We grow, but ultimately we're carrying the business on our back and we can't scale beyond that. What do we need to know? Well, ultimately, there's this essential role in every organization I call the queen bee role. That's the most important function within the business. I derive this from beehives. I use a technique called biomimicry, study something in nature, translate it to a personal or business application. And in beehives, for a beehive to scale, the queen bee must serve the role of producing eggs. If they don't produce eggs, the hive is done. It's all about the eggs. Now, other things matter, defend the hive, collect pollen and stuff, but if you're not producing eggs, none of that else matters. So the question is, in your business, what's the one thing that has to be done and nothing else matters compared to that? An example I use is FedEx. FedEx ships packages and so forth. It's the logistics that's their queen bee role. Could you imagine FedEx says, screw logistics, we're going all in on customer service. The headline news the next day would say, FedEx doesn't know where a freaking package is, but they're super nice about it.
They're the nicest people to tell you that your package isn't going to show up.
we don't know where it is, but hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Now, the reverse would actually work. If FedEx says we're going all in on logistics and we're going to stop customer service, Now the headline comes out, it says, FedEx not answering the phones, but the package was delivered on time yet again. So FedEx, they'll be crippled a little bit, but they'll sustain. The queen bee role is that essential role that keeps you going. So every business needs to identify it. In Clockwork, I explain the process. It's simple to find the queen bee role. And that's the one thing you must always be delivering on. Never let it be compromised.
I've also heard it when you're thinking about it as a personality trait of the entrepreneur, who usually is like employee one of one when you start an organization, like how I did. I had to realize what my superpower was. What am I great at? And then what can I have bring teammates on to, like, if graphic design is not your expertise, then why are you spending 15 hours a week doing graphic design as a business owner when you can get that off to the right person? Because your 15 hours of time in your superpower certainly, I would think, is going to bring you way further ahead than
way more impact for sure.
Yeah, than doing that. But in the beginning,
for me, it's writing books.
Exactly.
Same thing.
Yeah. So I want everybody listening to internalize that, or watching, internalize what's your superpower, what's your queen bee, that you can either, if you're not doing it now, identify it and do it, or just get back to doing more of that. Last question for you before we wrap up. And holy smokes, this has been an impactful 30 minutes for me. I'm excited to continue, friendship with you and hopefully share the stage with you at some point, Mike. But
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's do it. So here it is. I mean, you're actually a best-selling author, but for this moment, I want you to think about this as a metaphor. Imagine this. So you're the author and protagonist in your own life story. You get to write the ending. God willing, you continue to live a long, prosperous life. You're looking back, you're reflecting on it. You get to define your legacy. What would that be?
Okay. I mean, for the business legacy, because I really, if nothing else, if I only had to pick one thing, it would be about my family. Just, Dad was there. I was always there for my kids, my wife. In the business front, he eradicated entrepreneurial poverty. That's why I see my life's mission in business is to ensure that no one struggles unnecessarily with a lack of time or lack of money as an entrepreneur. So I would love that being my epitaph. Is that what they call that when you pass, right? He eradicated entrepreneurial poverty. Yeah,
you're doing it. You're doing it through your books. Brother. You're doing it through your podcast, being guests on shows like this one. I mean that. Like, you're helping me.
Thank you.
I've been in business for 4 years. In the last 6 months, I've done better than I have in the other 3.5 years combined. And it's because I'm getting not only smarter over time, but like applying the things I've learned. So it's not always about the knowledge, it's about the application. And now with the help of Nate, with the help of Mills, the help of you through your books, is making it all happen. And I have to be the queen bee of my own story. And I'm doing that. So I appreciate you helping me out now, directly being on the show and indirectly through your books. I'd just like to say 2 things. I'll let you run. Be great and be grateful. Really appreciate your time today. Any last words you'd like to say before heading out?
Just the world is starving for your success. For every entrepreneur listening in, the world needs your success. So step up and do it. We want you.
Bam. Mic drop moment. Bam. Mike Michalowicz. Thank you so much, brother. I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone for tuning in, especially those who listen all the way to the end to hear this message. Seriously, I appreciate you, and my guests do as well. Giving a quick reminder to subscribe to this show. It's completely free and will allow you to receive notifications when new episodes are released. If you'd like to provide a tip as a gift, you can do so via patreon.com/mikedup. It's spelled MIKED up. Patreon.com/mikedup. You can give as little as $1 per month or as much as you'd like. Every dollar is greatly appreciated and completely unexpected. Appreciate your reviews and your messages coming in on social as well. Keep them coming. Your feedback is valuable and absolutely means the world to me. You can check out more episodes and content at mikeduppodcast.com. We're powered by Social Chameleon. You can also follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active, and it's at Mike DiCioccio, MIKEDICIOCCIO. Thank you so much for your continued support. You guys know what to do. Be great and be grateful.